welcome to a new interview on the top 20 performing CEOs in the MENA region. Today, I'm so excited to introduce Mr. Gilson Costa, which is a professional in the financial industry with a background in compliance, F&O, collateral management, and high-growth tech sales. Gilson started his career with a focus on financial services and fintech before moving on to JP Morgan. Prior to founding VAF Compliance, Gilson was part of the initial team of one of the first fully regulated crypto exchanges in the Middle East. He has presented and moderated numerous financial, blockchain, and digital asset conferences on global stages, as well as to more selected audiences, including international law firms and regulators. With VAF Compliance, Gilson has built an experienced, flexible, and effective team in record time, and the company has been appointed as a partner of the DMCC Crypto Center and a member of both the Compliance Hub for the DMCC and Crypto Market Integrity Coalition. Thank you so much for being with us, Gilson, today.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
It's a pleasure. So to start with, can you tell us more about VAF Compliance and your team's expertise in virtual asset compliance and how it differs from other compliance services in the market?
Thank you. I think really what differentiates us from the other players in the market is that we are very focused in the digital asset space. The company was created specifically to target and bridge the gap between traditional finance and the digital asset space. And I think if I could say what makes us different, it's really the individuals that are part of the team. I think we have a very diverse team, and also a team that really completes each other's in terms of the skills and advantages that we all obtain to different careers. I came from traditional finance. I did M&A and debt capital market. So I have my experience in the traditional side going to deal committees, risk committees, and dealing with compliance individuals. And then we have people that also, again, myself, that work in an exchange. There's some other team members that worked in crypto exchanges in the Middle East as well. And they have experience from a surveillance, from a compliance perspective in traditional and crypto. We have someone that also came from CBDCs, working with central banks. And I think that mix is what gives us a unique approach when we look at solving some of the problems that our clients bring to us.
So basically, it's the skill set, which I completely understand, because it's a very critical field, if I may say. So
absolutely. And being a new field, I normally say I don't call myself an expert, and I don't really believe that people can call themselves, because it's so new and it changes so fast. And it's important to have a team that have experienced, and I say with our team, even though it's a very new field, it's so diverse and the skill set is so different that we could say that we almost covered all sorts of models that at least exist until today.
100%, and it's evolving by the day, so there's so much to learn to and adapt to, you know?
Absolutely.
So as the virtual assets market continues to evolve rapidly, which we were saying, how do you ensure that your risk and compliance programs are up to date and effective in mitigating new risks and identifying potential money laundering or terrorist financing risks? So what's the process?
I think, and this is one of the main roles that we always say about the companies, that we are really here to, educate people. And by saying that's not only by educating ourselves, then we are able to educate our clients and, learn from our peers. And I think that's how we manage to stay, let's not say ahead, but at least stay in touch with how regulation that just recently been announced in Dubai as an example, and other changes from a technology perspective that are happening. You, for example, see different protocols that are put out every day that you not necessarily are able to track with explorers, like using the main tools of the main players. But then you really have to adapt and try to understand first the protocol, either is by reading the white paper, either by actually using the protocol yourself to understand what particularities about that protocol has from a different protocol. And that's basically how really we tend to do these exercises in order to keep in touch. Another thing that we do as well is that we don't use a format fits all in terms of, as an example, when we are preparing a proposal or writing procedures and policies for clients. We're really trying to understand the client, understand first what is this risk appetite, what is this risk profile, and only when we both together in this journey with a client, both understand what is the risk appetite and the risk profile, then we can start working in terms of procedures, policies, manuals, and so on. And that's really the only way that we work. We don't recycle procedures because, as far as I've seen, really there is no case that's just the same. And it could be people doing the same thing, a payment wallet. But there will be in the details something specifically, either is the region they want to target, either is they want to do custody or self-custody. There's always something that, for me, it's important that, you know, you go through this discovery together with the client, being able to provide it something that is suitable, most cases only for them.
Of course, because at the end of the day, investors are investing their money, you know, so we need more people like you to just like send warnings sometimes, because obviously you saw what happened in the crypto market last year. And this leads me to my question: what are your thoughts on the scandals that hit the market in 2022? And as a compliance professional, if we can say, what do you advise crypto enthusiasts and investors to do to maybe avoid such things?
Again, education. There is no get quick rich scams, okay? That story that you read in the news, the guy that bought Bitcoin and now he's a billionaire, he's buying Bugattis. Normally, you be wary of these people that trying to portray some sort of image or wealth in social media and so on. I would say that's probably one of the things that you need to be aware. Education is so important. The crypto industry is always held at a higher standard, to answer your question in terms of what I think about the scandals, right? Of course, I think that having regulation will build trust in the public so people can be held accountable. So some of the things that today we still had in crypto, like say pumps and dumps and so on, are considered to be then illegal. So this kind of behavior doesn't happen anymore. And all this will instill confidence in the public. I think that in general, really, if you look at where I came from, traditional finance, those guys have scandals all the time. Like, and this is why I said regulation is important, but it's not going to solve everything.
I mean, scandals are always going to be there, right? Sorry.
Absolutely. You had Wirecard. All these people regulated, they were audited by PwC. They had all the stamps and all the bells that you can imagine in the world to give that confidence to the public. And nevertheless, they still turn out to be scams. And at the end, I guess it comes down to people, right? And you have to understand who's behind that project, understand the project itself, do your research, and then make that investment. Don't not rush into rush decisions because you watch a YouTube video or because some guy promised you incredible returns. You know, that's that saying they said, if it looks too good to be true, probably
then it's not true.
Correct.
Yes. I completely agree. And honestly, that's what we do at Unlock too. We try to educate people and like raise awareness on certain issues they are not maybe aware of, you know, because at the end of the day, it's money that they're losing, and scandals are always going to be here. They're here to stay. So it's really up to the people to really research about the project and know what they're investing in. It's not just about a trend, you know. I feel like a lot of people just invest because, you know, crypto is the new thing and they just want to ride the wave. So yeah.
And it's funny you said ride the wave, because when my friends come to me and say, when crypto is going down, they're saying, oh, it's down like How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to invest. I think it's going to be over. This is their comments. But then when it's going up, that's when they want to come in. And I say, now that it's actually going high, that's when you want to invest, right? At the peak.
100%.
That doesn't make sense anyway.
And it doesn't make sense because they should have invested when it was low.
Absolutely. But for that, you need to have trust. You need to understand the product. You need to do your research. And then goes back to education. And you mentioned, right, Unlock is one of the publications that, yeah, it really helps to develop the industry and further create the credibility. And I think that because of some bad players, and mind you, again, I came from traditional finance. We had loads of bad players. I mean, I was at JP Morgan. JP Morgan, what they invest most of their cash today is in compliance. And their reason is to protect themselves from these fines that they continuously continue to pay. So again, crypto is held at a higher standard. We are a very new industry. We are learning. We just got to keep learning and protecting ourselves together in the ecosystem by having good practices and trying to get rid of the bad players.
Agreed. So obviously after the scandals that happened, we noticed that there's an increase in regulatory grip on the virtual asset sector. Have you taken any measures to ensure that your clients remain compliant with local and global regulations? Has anything changed after the market crash last year? Can you tell us more about this?
Oh, absolutely. So we provide our clients regular bulletins on market updates. For example, very recently now we always had a VAF regulation being established. So we provided a call to our clients, just to give them an information in terms of what was the initial impact, timelines, and what should they expect in terms of future processes. And that's very important. That's something that we take very serious. For example, in Dubai now, with some particular license, you are required to be regulated. So we go through this process with the clients to help them, for example, decide which is the best license suitable for their business now that we have regulation, which is the best free zone suitable for their business. And really, we look at a long term, something that is sustainable, putting in steps a sustainable risk approach, like I mentioned, in order for them to have a prosperous business. And that means, for example, something that is very important in crypto, be able to obtain a bank account and maintain that bank account.
Yes.
So compliance plays a big role in this part, and this will play a bigger role as well to have, again, acceptance from mainland, if you want to call it, from the central bank. Because if we can continue to not just take the regulation, but also self-regulate to a certain extent, then we will be able to, again, build a more sustainable ecosystem.
So as the virtual assets continue to gain mainstream acceptance, what do you see as the biggest compliance challenges facing the industry now? What are the biggest compliance challenges that you think or that your clients are facing at the moment
I'd say the biggest compliance challenge that most of my clients currently face is in terms of actually being able, I'd say from a compliance perspective, we have the tools, so we can give them the transaction monitoring, we can write you the procedures, we can do the escalations, we can train you. I don't see that as a challenge itself. I think the biggest challenge we have in the crypto industry today is really in terms of banking. And compliance obviously plays a big role in that. And just making sure the clients are transparent as much as possible and they are ready to really be able to translate their business and explain to those traditional compliance officers that do not understand that space. And this is a role that we play by educating and training our clients on what are the best practices, let's put it this way. What is expected for a business to run in a sustainable, in a compliant way? Train the staff, make them aware of, as an example, spot certain patterns that might indicate that that individual is up to no good. And again, it sounds like I repeated myself, but it goes back to the education, the training part, awareness. And, bad players are always sophisticated. They normally one step ahead, creating new schemes, UAs. So it's about really, again, from a compliance perspective, for example, what we do for our clients is that you will renew their training every year, all new members of staff. Understand how you should deal with when you come across something that might require a certain level of escalation. How do you investigate that in the blockchain? That's also a very important part. So yeah, I would say that. I would say again, training and constant news updates in terms of news bulletins for customers whenever we identify something in the market.
Yes, at the end of the day, it's not just about training your staff in a way, but it's really about training the client because they're coming to you for advice in a way. So there's a huge responsibility on VAF. So yes, I totally agree that again, education and training are very important. I still have one final question. What is your vision for the future of this space? And what do you plan and how do you plan to position your company to meet these challenges and continue to provide industry-leading services to your clients?
Yeah, I think now you see with I think we're just in the beginning of this age in terms of the digital space. I would compare it like in the beginning when you had, the internet came about, you had only 2-3 websites, right? And I think we were there, and we've seen the progress in different protocols, in different. We start with NFTs now, so we have SBTs and so on. There's such progress, and it's so fast every day. I really feel we are in the beginning, and I think the sky is the limit.
Yes.
I think the key will be automation. We look at AI, we look at tools like ChatGPT, so I'm sure something is coming up in the crypto space that will mirror that. They will just take over the world. So that's what I see as going, and I see us as a compliance firm also to be able to have better tools with AI intelligence that learn patterns and allow humans to better make the decision, identify in a much quicker and much efficient way. And that's what I really see us going, evolving as a technology company that will be able to develop, and we are currently developing a new software specifically in terms of the transaction monitoring space. So that's where I see it going, and I think that as a company or a compliance company, if these protocols are evolving, you need to evolve in the same way or at the same pace. So you need to keep developing. You need to be thinking about new solutions, because that's what clients will want. People want speed, people want efficiency, people like automation, and obviously AI is the new era. And I'm sure we'll get the ChatGPT of crypto very soon.
And I am sure too, and we wish you all the best. That was it from my side. Thank you so much for joining the call. And for everyone who doesn't know, just a small reminder that Unlock has launched a competition. It's called the 20 top performing CEOs in the MENA region. And Gilson was one of the top nominees. So we wish you all the best on the voting process. And thank you so much again for being here with us today. It's been super
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much for the invite. And it was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.